Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first Online WaPOR Hackathon. We are very excited to have all of you with us today and for the rest of the week. My name is Amani Matar. I'm from IHE Delft, and I work as a project assistant with the Water Accounting Group. So this hackathon is being put together by the WaPOR project. The WaPOR, which is the FAO portal to monitor water productivity through open access of remotely sensed-derived data. From covering Africa and the Middle East, the WaPOR database will be expanding globally to cover more countries in Asia and Latin America by 2023. This hackathon is being implemented by IHE Delft Institute for Water Education with the support of FAO and IWMI and the financial support of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands. We also have with us a wide group of experts, jury members, and coaches who have committed their time in being with us for the next 2 weeks. We are very excited to be hosting this hackathon today, since it is an opportunity to be working together with people from around the world to achieve food security and better water management and put the WaPOR data into practice. Today is the opening session of the WaPOR Hackathon, and we have welcome words from IHE Delft, FAO, and some inspiring speeches from Digital Africa and ELIF, our keynote speakers. After the session, the organizers will meet with the participants as they will be joining their initial teams that were already organized. Some participants of this hackathon have already joined as a team, and others joined individually, and they were grouped together with other participants. Now we have our first speaker, Dr. Marloes Smol, an associate professor at IHE Delft and the head of the Water Accounting Group. The Water Accounting Group works closely with the colleagues within the Institute and with our global partner network. Dr. Marloes leads several large-scale projects funded by FAO, ADB, and the World Bank, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Netherlands, including the IHE Delft contribution to the second phase of the WaPOR project on monitoring land and water productivity by remote sensing, and the Water PIP project focusing on water productivity improvement and practice. Dr. Marloes couldn't be live with us today, but she shared a video and a short welcome word to the participants, which we will watch together now.
Hello everybody, welcome to this first online WaPOR Hackathon. My name is Marloes Smol and I'm the coordinator of the Water Accounting and Crop Water Productivity Group at IHE Delft. Here we utilize open access remote sensing data for our applications, from farm field level to irrigation schemes and river basins. IHE is a partner in the second phase of the WaPOR project led by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN. WaPOR is a remote sensing derived open access database containing components such as total biomass production, all three components of evapotranspiration, reference evapotranspiration and water productivity, as well as precipitation and land use. The purpose of the WaPOR database is to support farmers, irrigation scheme managers, and other water-related decision makers to improve their water use in agriculture, as it is the highest consumer of water globally. Over the past years, various organizations and individuals have developed applications using the WaPOR data. From the QGIS plugin to improve accessing the data developed by the winner of the Water PIP Hackathon in 2020, to tools for irrigation performance assessments and basin-level water accounting. With this hackathon, we would like to inspire and support the WaPOR community to develop new applications. Over the next 2 weeks, you will get to know more about what has already been done and what resources are available. You will be guided through developing your own ideas for a WaPOR application, supported by various experts. I hope this is going to be an exciting week for you, learning new things and developing your ideas. I'm looking forward to seeing your pitches next week and ultimately supporting the winning team to turn the idea into a reality. Enjoy!
We thank Dr. Marloes for her word, and you will be also meeting her during the next 2 weeks of the hackathon, hopefully. Our second speaker is Livia Peiser. Livia has been working in the Land and Water Division of the FAO for the past 12 years, applying spatial analysis to water resources assessment. Since 2015, she focuses on remote sensing application for water productivity monitoring through the implementation of the FAO WaPOR project. Welcome, Livia, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and good morning to all of you. and welcome to the hackathon. So yes, I'm Livia Peiser, and I work in the Land and Water Division of the Food and Agriculture Organization in Rome, where I support the coordination of the WaPOR project. The project is now in its second phase with a stronger focus on demand-driven application of the data. The first phase brought the development of an operational methodology and the WaPOR database itself to monitor water productivity and the underlying variables that Marluz mentioned before me. It also brought capacities and examples of applications from continental to field level in a limited number of countries. But now we really want to bring this up to scale and promote many different uses of the data that can respond to different needs in many countries to improve water use in agriculture. At FAO, we firmly believe in the benefits that digitalization of agriculture can bring to farming communities around the world. For example, we have recently hosted the Science and Innovation Forum in FAO headquarters, during which hundreds of institutions shared experiences on the transformation towards digital agriculture. At the same time, we are also aware of the work that remains to be done to take full advantage of the increasing amount of data and information, and more importantly, maybe aware of the work that remains to be done to make sure that such tools are accessible and useful to those that need them the most, and then that can eventually reduce inequalities in rural communities. In this sense, I'm particularly interested in the ideas that will be proposed under Team 4 of the hackathon on social inclusion, gender, and equity. An important conditions for a fair digitalization of agriculture is, of course, that data and methodologies are publicly accessible. And in that sense, we are proud to say that WaPOR is recognized as a public good by the Digital Public Good Alliance. But then on top of open data, then we need ideas that are fit to the purpose. And to achieve that, we need your mind's imagination, expertise, and the ability to think outside the box. Innovation often happens through unpredictable paths and through brave steps taken in directions that nobody saw before. So I really wish you an inspiring hackathon fueled by new connections and networking. And as a last point, let me congratulate the great team behind the organization of the hackathon that made a tremendous job in preparing 2 exciting weeks ahead for you. And I really look forward to hearing your pitches soon, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Livia. And thank you also again for being with us. And so after these 2 welcome words from IHE and FAO, we will move to our keynote speakers. And I will give a brief introduction. And maybe just before, if you have any questions or you want to comment or introduce yourself, please post them in the comments on the YouTube chat box, and we will also check them after. So our first keynote speaker is Lisa Maria Rebello. She is the lead scientist for Digital Heirs Africa, where she provides leadership and strategic guidance to the scientific research and technical operations of the program. She holds a PhD in remote sensing and has 20 years of experience working in the Earth observation sector in Africa and Asia. Thank you very much, Lisa, for being with us, and we're looking forward for your presentation.
Thank you very much, Amani, and welcome to all of the participants. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time in looking at the context, why this challenge is so important, and then touching on the focus, which is challenging all of the participants to think about ways to move from the WaPOR data and other linked data sets. And I'm going to give you some examples of other data that can also be aligned with the WaPOR to develop more complex applications. So looking at the context, as Livia mentioned, there is much for us still to do, both in terms of looking at agriculture and water use and required production, but also in terms of transforming systems towards more digital environments. We look at the African context. African countries contribute only a very small proportion of global emissions, but will disproportionately feel the impact of climate change. And that's what you see through this graphic on the slide. So the red areas show that the major greenhouse gas contributing nations, and the blue areas are those that will feel the biggest impact. So it's really clear the position that the African continent and many African countries are in going forward. Against this, we have high water stress, which is estimated to affect already about 250 million people and expected to reach 700 million across Africa by 2030, with 4 out of 5 African countries unlikely to have sustainably managed water resources by 2030, which is really not very far away. Against this context, agriculture, which is the biggest consumer of water already, we still need to increase food production to ensure food security. So we know that remote sensing data, platforms, databases such as WaPOR and others can really address this gap. But so far, we see that Earth observation data, remote sensing data sets are really not being exploited to their full capacity across the continent. And yet we see this huge potential. Looking just at the potential economic value for agricultural productivity, it's estimated at around $900 million US dollars per year, but I think that's actually probably an underestimate. So within this context, we have programs such as the WaPOR and the one that I'm working with at the moment, Digital Earth Africa, which try to address this gap and encourage the use of Earth observation data, really by making it more accessible. As Livia also mentioned, one key challenge is the accessibility. So through this platform, Digital Earth Africa, we're providing analysis-ready data streams. So at the moment, that's Sentinel-1 and 2, Landsat, so the full archive for the entire African continent, stretching back to 1984 in the case of the Landsat satellites. It's an African-led program hosted in Africa, so that it eases access through cloud infrastructure. And currently there are almost 4 terabytes of data hosted through Amazon Web Services in Cape Town. Now, all of this data is completely free, even for commercial use. So for developing applications that link to the private sector in terms of particularly the agricultural space, there is no cost. So the data are optimized for web processing, and there's complete visibility from the data to the product. We have different interfaces for different needs, whether you just want to look at the map interface and download some of the static pictures, or you actually want to enter the Jupyter Sandbox, which is a Python environment. You can enable this. What this does really is enable you to then build your complex analyses on a topic in your own environment or within the sandbox, all at no cost. So based on this, the program was launched about 18 months ago. On the platform, we currently have around 100 open source, that's Jupyter notebooks, accessible to anyone who logs on. And a portion of these are focused on agriculture, food security, and water resources and flood risks. So in general, they focus around 7 main topics, the orange boxes on the slide. And they're addressing the use of the data for specific applications from beginners to advanced users. And each application has actually been developed by an end user themselves. And really the strength in this is, for example, if one of our end users in Tunisia has identified an application that they want to develop and has developed it for their country, an end user in Rwanda can then go and take that Jupyter notebook, and it's very straightforward to just make it context specific to the Rwanda situation, as the data are all the same and the processing platform is uniform across the continent. So what may be relevant to you, especially as we think about the potential applications you'll be building with WaPOR, is the continental services that Digital Earth Africa provides for food security applications. So these are all at Landsat resolution, so 30 meter pixels across the entire continent. And so for every month, we have standard deviation of vegetation conditions from 1984 until the present. This has a latency of 1 month. I should also add that as we bring the Landsat and Sentinel data onto the platform with a latency of 1 to 2 days, which also enables you to then design near real-time applications. So several applications are shown here. There's an NDVI climatology product. That's the long-term baseline, and then the standardized anomaly, which measures the direction and significance of vegetation against vegetation change against that normal condition. So we have a monthly anomalies product around that as well, which then can be used to identify potential drought conditions or where conditions are deviating from the norm. So there's clearly a lot of potential to combine these with water use, water availability, the indicators that are available through the WaPOR platform. So I would encourage you to have a look. The data can all be pulled. You can either use them through direct access within our cloud computing platform. As I said, you don't need to pay for the access of the space. It's all completely free. You just need to register through the interface. Or there's also web services for GIS, which enable access to these data from QGIS or ArcGIS using web map servers and web coverage services. There's also stack compliant, the data will stack compliant, and there's a metadata catalog, so you can also bring this into the Python environment of your choice. So we tried to make it as easy to incorporate, and just excited to see how these can be used alongside the WaPOR data. So thank you very much, good luck, and I'm really excited to see what applications are developed over the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for this presentation. I hope also it inspires the participants to come up with some innovative ideas to put the WaPOR data into practice. So thank you for your word, and thank you for being with us. We move now to our next speaker. Our next speaker is also very inspiring, and we welcome Natalia, the participant from the Water PIP Hackathon that took place in 2020 and is one of the members of the winning team. Natalia will tell us a little bit more about her experience and the idea and the progress of their prototype that they developed. Natalia is originally an agriculture engineer with an MSc degree in water science engineering from IHE Delft. Her research focused on sustainable water management for agriculture using precision farming practices such as remote sensing. She joined eLeaf in 2021 as a geodata analyst and is part of the operations unit. She is responsible to support the spatial data analysis, acquisition, and processing. Thank you, Natalia, for being with us, and we're looking forward for your speech.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to, I don't know. Oh, sorry. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm really happy to be part of the opening session of the WaPOR Hackathon 2022, sharing my journey. I am Natalia Cárdenas. As Amani said, I'm one of the team members that won the previous edition of the WaPOR Hackathon. So I will just introduce myself, share a bit of my journey, and at the end share some tips that can be useful for you during this experience. So yeah, I'll start. About me, I'm an agricultural engineer with a master's degree in water science and engineering at IHE Delft. I focus on sustainable sustainable water and crop management practices such as remote sensing for agriculture. And currently I am a geodata analyst at eLeaf, one of the members of the Water Peak project that is one of the hosts of this hackathon. So yeah, I was saying that when I joined the WaPOR hackathon, I was doing my master, I was finishing my master, and it was a really nice experience because I got to apply some things that I have learned during my master during the WaPOR hackathon. So I really encourage all of you, the participants, that apply all your studies, professional experience, because you will need it to create a really nice idea. So I will continue. So the WAP plugin team. So WAP plugin is how our project is called, and it was formed during the WaPOR hackathon. So each of the members of the project or the team start individually, and then the management of the WaPOR hackathon just put us together. So we were a really international team with different backgrounds. We were professionals, computer science engineers. So it's okay if you join alone, and still you can just make great ideas and create just just something really nice during this experience. So the journey during the WaPOR Hackathon 2020. So at that time, it was called from database to application. So the main idea was to create a way, an app or an application to access the WaPOR data in an easiest way for all kind of users. So during the first phase, that I think that is kind of similar this time, that is divided into phases. During the first phase, we identify the challenge, recognize the many users, and come up with a solution. So first, it's really important to just first focus on the challenge that you want to address, and together with the users that you want to point out. So first of starting with a solution, just first identify them and then come up with a solution. So that's my first advice. Then if you made it to the second phase, at that time you have to work in your idea. So bring your solution in an idea and bringing it to reality. So don't overstress yourself. You don't have to come up with a final version of anything. You just have to be creative of how you show your idea, and and show it in a pitch, and that will make you maybe one of the winners of the WaPOR Hackathon 2022. So I will share the idea that we had at that time. So we created a water accounting and a productivity plugin based on WaPOR data for QGIS platform that, as I mentioned before, is called the WaP plugin. So what we identified, or the challenge that we identified, was that accessing to the WaPOR data for people that, so our main users were professionals, people that use GIS softwares. So we identified that maybe the WaPOR data was not so easy to access from the WaPOR portal and then to the GIS softwares. So use like normal user of the data had to go to the platform, then sign in, then download the data, then go to the GIS software, then upload all the data there, then apply some conversion factors to have the data in the right units. So what we did is to create a bridge between the WaPOR platform and the QGIS software. So it makes easy to access the data. You just have to select the things that you need, and you will just pull the data to QGIS software in an easy way. So that's why we created, and this is how it looks. Our last latest version, that is the version 2. So if you want to have a look how the project is doing, and how it looks like, and experience some of how it works, you can just go to our social media and just follow that. We have several videos, and you can take these like a guideline to just develop your own idea. Of course, it doesn't have to look in this way. You just can have it like as a guide, as I mentioned. So then I will share some helpful clues, so some tips. So first, teamwork. Teamwork is really important. So just know every person of your team and identify its skills, and then it will be just good to divide the work in a really nice way, because you have to create a lot of stuff in just 1 week for the first phase. So it's a lot of work that you have to do, and you still have to do your own stuff. So just work as a team, and in that way you will be creating something really, really nice. As for advice and guidance, so at that time, and now also this edition, there are like a lot of coaches, a lot of experts, and people that really can guide you how to just pull your idea. At that time, I remember our coach was Hans, and he helped us to just pull our idea, and in that way we were one of the selected projects for continuing in the second phase. So it's really important just to ask for advice, and all the experts are really knowledgeable people that can really help you. So it's important to do that. sell your idea. That's super important when you are just doing your pitch. So it can be a really excellent idea, but if you don't know how to sell it, maybe you are not going to be selected. So know how you can express your idea in a really nice way that it can stand out over the other ideas. So maybe you can see some examples during this presentation, or maybe in the videos of the previous WaPOR hackathon, and maybe you can have some good ideas of how to sell your idea. And networking, so it's also a really nice experience to meet people, so open up. Who knows if you end up working with someone that you are meeting today. And so it's also an experience for enjoying, so I really encourage that. And then the last thing that I have to say to you is just good luck. I'm really looking forward to see your ideas, and you will do great. And yeah, enjoy the experience.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Natalia, for your presentation, for sharing your experience. And I hope it's also a good inspiration for the participants to see what was done before and how it's possible to move forward and give them some inspiration for their new ideas for this year's WaPOR hackathon. So for now, I'll go a little bit more into details into the hackathon for this year. So we have, as you know, so the main theme for the hackathon is WaPOR for monitoring and evaluation of global challenges. And for that, we have divided it into 4 sub-themes. We're working on environmental challenges, tools to validate WaPOR data, monitoring SDGs, and the social inclusion and gender sub-theme. So with this, we want to encourage you to have your ideas into within these themes. And if you would like to work on something different, we would encourage you also to share it with your coaches. We'll be going more into details on the plan for the next 2 weeks later. But now we also we want to give you a little bit overview on the numbers for the hackathon. So originally we had around 268 registered participants for this hackathon. And we ended up dividing these participants into 35 teams. So now we will have with us around 35 teams working together. Some of the participants are already enrolled as a team, and they were grouped with each other, and others were grouped, individual registered participants were grouped together, taking into account their background, their time zone as well, and their inspiration for joining the hackathon as well. So basically every team will have 7 days from now to work on their initial idea and prepare a 1-minute pitch that we will present for our jury. And this should be addressing one of the 4 themes that we have for the hackathon. And by the end of the first week, so by Wednesday, December 7th, the teams should submit their 1-minute pitch, which we will share with our jury members. And we will have the closing of the first week of the hackathon on Thursday, December 8th. And with that, the jury members will choose 5 winners, 1 from each theme, and an extra winner if someone would like to work on a different theme. And then these winning teams will have another week to work and develop their idea into a concept. And then we'll have the final winner by December 16th. And we hope you would be one of the teams that would stay with us until then. We would also like to let you know that we will have, so under the WaPOR project, we will have 2 more hackathons that will be planned over the next 2 years. So maybe if this is your first time, you can get your experience, and then you will be able to be ready to participate in the coming hackathons. So we also encourage you to follow our social media and the website for more activities under this project. And for the other members, we also will be posting a lot of updates about what's happening on the WaPOR hackathon on our website and on social media. So it's also nice to share with you these things. So now I see we already have some questions from the participants. But first, I would like to thank everyone from our speakers and the welcome words that we had today for being with us today in this opening session. And for the next part of this session, we will be moving forward to give the participants of this hackathon more details on what is needed and what's the plan for the coming weeks. So our first activity will be to organize the teams. So we're ready, as I said, we already have 35 teams, but we gave the participants the chance to today to switch between teams if they would like to. So we'll be going over details on how this activity can be done. We'll be moving forward now with the details on that. And so yeah, I thank everyone for being with us from the speakers. And for the participants of the hackathon, please stay with us for the next time, for the next hour, as we'll be giving you more details.